Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here with me. I still remember my early days in trading, that feeling of my heart just pounding in my chest with every single market swing. Today, we're going to talk about those exact moments, the ones that really test our resolve. And together, we're going to explore how to transform that fear into a quiet, unshakable confidence. I want you to take a moment and really connect with that feeling. That jolt of anxiety right when the numbers start to flash and your stomach just drops. It's a completely human feeling, isn't it? A mix of hope and, well, a lot of fear. And it's okay to feel that way. Now, let's dive into a story that might just change how you see those moments forever. So, picture this. It's just a normal day. The market is calm. It's moving in this gentle, almost predictable rhythm. Everything feels stable, under control. You feel at ease, just watching the chart kind of breathe in and out. It's a peaceful scene. But as we know, in the world of trading, peace can be a very fleeting guest. And then, you wake up the next morning, you open your screen and your breath just catches in your throat. The chart hasn't just dipped, it looks like it's fallen off a cliff. A huge, terrifying red gap is staring right back at you. And in an instant, all of that peace is completely shattered. This right here, this is that moment. We'll call it the morning shock. And it's a real crossroads, where your training, your discipline, and all your emotions collide. In this single moment, two very different paths emerge. The question is, which one will you choose?
All right, so on the first path, let's meet Nikki. Now, Nikki is bright, she's read all the books, but she's still learning to navigate the turbulent waters of her own emotions. She really represents that part in all of us that feels that initial, gut-wrenching shockwave of a market storm.
And this is what is just screaming inside her head. It's a disaster. I have to get out now before it gets worse. It's pure, unfiltered panic. That red on the screen triggers a red alert in her mind. Her only thought is to escape, to stop the bleeding before it's too late.
So what does she do? She acts on that fear. She sells immediately, right at the bottom when the panic is at its absolute peak. Her decision isn't based on a plan or any kind of strategy. It's a pure, raw, emotional reaction. It's a gamble, really, born from a feeling of helplessness, a decision that almost always leads to regret. Now, let's walk down that second path, and here we meet Priya. Priya has felt that exact same shock as Nikki many, many times before, but her experience has forged a totally different response. She sees the same red screen, but she sees a very different story. Instead of panic, she feels stillness. Priya's internal monologue is a world away from Nikki's. She sees this gap down not as a personal disaster, but just as a market event. She recognizes the collective fear, and she knows that her real advantage lies in staying logical. So our first question isn't, how do I escape, but rather, okay, what is really happening here? Where is the opportunity?
And this leads her to this simple yet incredibly powerful three-step plan. First, she just pauses. She takes a breath and she observes. Second, she analyzes. She zooms out and looks at the bigger picture. And only then, third, does she execute, a decision based on her strategy, not on her fear. This is the roadmap to a professional mindset.
So here's the crucial point. The professional edge isn't some secret indicator or a magic formula. It is, and it always has been, all about your mindset. It's about how you frame what's happening. Believe me, I learned this the hard way, but it's a lesson that has truly transformed my trading and my life. This slide just captures it perfectly. You've got two different realities created by two different mindsets. For Nikki, the world is a chaotic storm of fear. It's a crisis, she feels helpless, lost in a sea of potential loss. But for Priya, it's simply an event, a wave in the ocean of the market. She feels in control, and she's already scanning the horizon for the opportunity hidden within all that panic. And here you can see the direct consequence of each mindset. Nikki's panic selling almost guarantees a devastating outcome. She locks in her losses at the absolute worst possible time. Priya's disciplined analysis, on the other hand, leads to a place of power. At the very minimum, she protects her capital. At best, she finds a new opportunity. It really is true. Your mindset determines your outcome.
And think of it this way. Nikki's path is paved with a really heavy emotional toll. We're talking stress, regret, a shattered confidence. Priya's path, well, it's not always easy, but it leads to a place of strength, preserved capital, valuable experience, and a deep sense of empowerment. It's a choice we all have to make. Are you going to pay with your peace of mind, or will you invest in it? The journey isn't always easy, but I promise you, it is always worth it.
So, if there is just one thing I hope you take away with you today, it is this. We spend so much time trying to predict the unpredictable, don't we? But the true advantage, the real secret, is to turn inward. It's about mastering yourself, your reactions, your fears, your discipline. That is where your true power lies. Never ever forget that.
It has been a real joy sharing this time with you. Please remember to be kind to yourself on this journey. The market will always have its shocking moments, but you have everything you need right inside of you to face them, with calm and with strength. Until next time, trade with wisdom and with heart.